Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and all the Titans have been announced. They've all been unveiled. We know all their abilities, and it's time to do what Rarn did like 2 days ago, and Old Guardian did, and maybe even Regis by the time this goes live. But, well, I want to give my take and rank all the Titans from S through F, S being God tier, unbelievably broken, and F being like, what were they doing? What were they thinking? And I will link this template in the description below if you want to fill it out yourself and, you know, compare and tell me how wrong I am. Show me what the correct answer is to this. And of course, if you want to win these Titans or any of the other cards that will be starting to be revealed tomorrow, card reviews again, start tomorrow. We have a giveaway going on, 2 mega bundles, 2 regular pre-orders out of my own pocket. All you have to do is like and comment to the video description below, be subscribed to the channel, and you have a chance to win. So, well, let's get ranking those Titans. And before we get into the Titans themselves, important to note, every Titan has 3 abilities. They can use one once a turn, including the turn it is played. They cannot attack until all 3 abilities are used, and these cannot be randomly generated or discovered by any cards unless it's like identity theft or something specific out of a deck or a hand. So, starting off, we have the first Titan, the Druid Titan, ENR the Lifebinder, a 10 mana 5/7 Titan that after this uses an ability, you summon a 5/5 Ancient with Taunt. And her 3 abilities are Bountiful Harvest, which restores your hero to full health, Flourish, which refreshes your mana crystals, and Spontaneous Growth, which draws cards until your hand is full. And this card to me just seems like an absolute powerhouse in any Druid deck that ramps up. You get to that 10 mana, maybe you need a full heal. And not only to get the full heal, you get a 5/5 taunt. You might want to draw through your deck. You might want to refresh your mana crystals and then like copy this, which then the copied version can use one of the 2 unused abilities right away. So there's a lot of strong implications for this card. I think it's really damn good. Druid's in a pretty rough spot right now, considering most of their decks have been nerfed, but I'm going to give this a high A. I think it's very solid, and Druid will love it as long as they can actually get to that point in the game. Next, we have the Hunter Titan, Agrimar the Avenger, a 6 mana 3/7 that has Battle Cry. Equip a 3/3 Tashalok, which is just a base 3/3 weapon. So not amazing right out the gate. However, the abilities that come with this are pretty darn scary. You have Commanding Presence, give your weapon after your hero attacks, summon a 3/3 Enforcer with Taunt. So every swing for the rest of whatever you have left for this weapon, you will get a 3/3. Or you can play Maintain Order and give your weapon after your hero attacks, draw a card, which again, pretty solid. You can draw up to 3 cards if you play it early, or give it Swift Slash, give your weapon +2 attack, and your hero is immune while attacking. I just see this as like a pretty good aggressive hunter weapon, where you play this as a 6-drop, and then you just start smashing face. And if this lives, it's a 3/7. You can give it more abilities, buffs, taunts, draw, and at the same time, if you're playing in a more aggressive curve-based deck, this is probably not going to be your priority to kill, because it can't attack, but you're dealing with all the other minions while they're smacking you down. It's not the most exciting Titan. It doesn't really fit the flavor of like the Beast Hunter going on, but I do see it as just a card where you want to smack face, and Hunter's been pretty good at that. I'm gonna give it a B. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's great. By the way, I'm rating these based on compared to the other Titans. I think they're all pretty much insane. But in terms of the other Titans, yeah, it's a B for me. Next, we have the Priest Titan Amenthul, a 7 mana 3/10 Titan. So it's gonna be really hard to kill this. And after this uses an ability, discover any legendary minion. It can discover from any other class. So it can get, you know, colossals and just all sorts of shenanigans. It can only take from the legal pool, so it can't discover other Titans or wild cards or anything like that. It has the abilities of Shape the Stars. Choose a non-Titan minion. You summon a copy of it with +2/+2, so that could be your opponent's minion. Just get something on the board. Get something proactive, that could be pretty solid. Strike from history, choose 2 enemy minions, remove them from the game, so it's like a poof effect. Their death rattle's gone, they never exist, they can't be resurrected, they're not giving corpses, nothing like that. In Vision of Heroes, summon a random 6-cost minion, give it Taunt and Lifesteal. Not the greatest, but you can just get some Taunt and Lifesteal on the board. It's not Discover like I originally thought, it's just random stats, probably one of the weaker of the options. But this goes in Priest, where you can play multiple of them with like power chord synchronize and all of that, and just the incredible value it can create, the fact you can copy other stuff. It is a Control Priest dream, and Control Priest is arguably the best deck in Standard right now. I do think this goes into every late game Priest deck, period, outside of like Wild Big Priest, and that's about it. I think it's S tier, I think it's super strong, and I think people are gonna absolutely hate facing it, but people are gonna really like playing it as well. We have the Paladin Titan, Amitus the Peacekeeper. It's a 7 mana 1/8, so pretty rough stats, but it has taunt, and your minions, including herself, can't take more than 2 damage at a time. Her abilities are empowered, which gives your other minions +2/+2, so not herself. Pacified, set the attack and health of all enemy minions to 2. That can neutralize an entire board, and with Consecration on 10 mana, it's a full board clear, not too bad. And Reinforce, draw 2 minions, set their attack, health, and cost to 2. That could be combo shenanigans where you're hitting like the Jailer. Just hitting Battlecry minions can be really solid with that, and you can cheat them out for dirt cheap. I think this card is pretty darn good. It's gonna make your minions almost impossible to kill unless your opponent is strictly running hard removal. She will also be really hard to remove from the board. I think she slots in to like more of that mid-range pure Paladin list, or maybe it creates its own like combo cheese deck where you're cheating something out. Again, not one of the sexiest Titans, but pretty darn good as well. I'm gonna give it a B. I think it's more middle of the road Titan, but still, I think I gave it 5 stars, and I don't think I would take that away. It might be a 4-star card or 5-star card, but in Titan land, I'm gonna give it a B. Next, we have the Demon Hunter Titan, Argus the Emerald Starry, 7 mana 5/9 Titan with the passive ability of minions to the left of this have Rush, and the ones to the right have Lifesteal. It's almost like a Tavern Brawl, and his abilities are the Argunite Army. You summon 4 2/2 elementals with taunt. Important to note, half of them spawn on the left, so they'll have Rush, and half will spawn on the right and will have Lifesteal. And that's 8/8 in stats on top of the body you're already summoning for probably less than 7 mana, because it's Demon Hunter after all. Crystal Carving allows you to discover a Death Rattle minion. It costs 3 less. This is probably your last ability you'll use. Not super relevant in my opinion. And Show of Force, reduce the cost of all minions in your hand by 2. So you can play this and cheat other stuff out and give it Rush or Lifesteal and do absolutely busted stuff. We already have Relic Demon Hunter with a Relic of Dimensions, and you can imagine what hitting Argus the Emerald Star will be like, and this could just slot into what I think pretty much any Demon Hunter deck. The initial stat bomb alone of just playing Argunite Army is absurd. It can go to Big Demon Hunter, can go to Relic Demon Hunter. I think this is an S tier Titan. It's just an absurd amount of stats, mana cheat, taunt, lifesteal, just a really, really strong Titan. We have Golganeth the Thunderer, the Shaman Titan, is 6 mana 5/7, almost Boulder Fist in stats. And while this is alive, your first spell each turn costs 3 less. It has the abilities of Lord of Skies, deal 20 damage to a minion, and that might seem like overkill, but in a Titan meta, which we might be entering, that's going to be very valuable to remove other Titans. We have Roaring Oceans, which deals 3 damage to all enemies and restores 6 health to all friendly characters. That's worth running the card alone, in my opinion. Compare that to the Lurker below, which is a pretty good card. It's pretty darn absurd. And Shargon's Wrath, draw 3 overload cards, which you could potentially cheat out because your first spell each turn costs 3 less. It's just a ridiculous card. The AoE alone is super strong. The hard removal can be very powerful, and card draw in Shaman is always pretty lacking, and it's tutored for specific cards. To me, it's another S tier Titan that will go into a ton of Shaman decks, including like a Bulb Shaman and all sorts of other shenanigans. Again, super ridiculously strong card in my opinion, and I'm very excited to try it out. We have the Warrior Titan Khaz'goroth, a 6 mana 4/4 Titan, so not the greatest stats, but after this uses an ability, you gain immune this turn and attack a random enemy minion. It cannot go face, and its abilities are Heart of Flame. You gain +5 health on the minion. You give your hero 5 armor. You have Tempering, which gives your minion 5 attack, and it also gives you 5 attack, as well as Titan Forge, which will buff it to a 6/6 +2/+2, unless it's been hand buffed, of course, and draw a weapon. It is one of the more underwhelming Titans, not that sexy, and the fact that you spend a lot of your turns buffing this and it can't attack for like 3 turns after it uses its ability, and the only thing it can attack is at random, right? You can't really manipulate that unless you clear everything. Makes it not the best thing in the world. However, it could go into like, you know, that hand buff. Rage Warrior can get rather large, basically unkillable, help control the board and kill your opponent. But overall, I just wish Warrior got a cool control Titan like the other control style classes, and I just feel like the card's not that bad, it's not that great, but it just, I want some cool control Warrior cards. What happened to Rattlegore and all of that? Even the Colossal was just some freaking pirate card. I don't know. It just makes me kind of sad. So I'll give it a C. I don't think it's that terrible, but I think it's more like an F in terms of like a warrior card. I just want control, man. So we have the Mage Titan Norganon, a 6 mana 3/8 Titan. After this uses an ability, you double the power of the other abilities. And those abilities are Ancient Knowledge, which makes your enemy cards cost 1 more next turn. So it'll be 1 more, 2 more, 4 more. Progenitor's Power, I don't know. Deal 5 damage, 10 or 20, and then unlimited potential. Cast 1 whole random secret. You don't even get to discover it. Cast 2 or cast 3. This card will only be good if you can basically combo it with like the 3 mana copy spell and reliably deal 20 damage to try and kill your opponent. Doesn't seem all that likely with the current card pool in standard. The way it can work out is like you play it, you know, you disrupt your opponent's cards, they can't answer it immediately, and then you copy it up and start dealing like 20 damage. That's the way I see it happening. It's a possibility, and for that reason, I will give it a C. There is that possibility that it actually just is this crazy OTK card that isn't that hard to go off with, but I'm not super confident on it happening. I also don't want it to happen because that sounds awfully degenerate. Next, we have Sargeras the Destroyer, the Warlock Titan that you should be voting for in the Choose Your Titan event to get those packs. There's a 9 mana 6/12 demon, very hard to kill. Battle Cry, open a portal that summons 2 3/2 imps each turn. That's at the end of your turn, not actually every turn. And that portal cannot be removed in any way. It's on the board permanently. And you have the abilities of Inferno, where you summon 2 6/6s from that Twisting Nether. Legion Invasion, which gives future demons summoned from the Twisting Nether, so the 6/6s or the 3/2s, +2 in health and taunt for the rest of the game. And to the void, send all other minions into the Twisting Nether, which is like a giant poof effect. It deletes the card, the death rattle, all of that. They didn't happen. To me, this is a really crazy card. If you can consistently play this and survive, you are gonna win games. You have infinite like taunt and health on your demons. If you pick that option, you have a board clear on the 6/12, but the card is vulnerable to Dirty Rat, as this card only works if the Battle Cry happens. You can't really play a Void Caller deck, and if you're facing a Control Priest, you know they're gonna identity theft this and play it before you do, while also ratting and destroying yours. It'll be frustrating. I love the flavor. I love the card. I think it's rad. I just hope you can actually play it. I'm giving it the most optimistic A ever, but for all the reasons I kind of stated, it's probably going to end up a lot worse, but I don't care. It's such a freaking cool card. We have the Primus, a Death Knight Titan who has no runes required, so you can play it in any Death Knight deck that you wish. It is an 8 mana 7/9, and after this uses an ability, you discover a card with that rune. So we have the Runes of Blood, which destroys an enemy minion, so that can kill a Titan, which makes this card very good right away. This minion and your hero gain its health. So not only does your Titan probably get a huge buff, but so does your hero. So this really goes well into Blood Decay, like extremely well. And you'll also discover a Blood Rune card. You have Runes of Frost. The next spell you cast costs 3 less and has spell damage +3. Nice little bit of mana cheat. Can be really good on like Howling Blast or like the 4 mana Consecration that draws a card. Doesn't work with Blood Boil. It's still a pretty darn good card, and can even with Death Strike can heal you for 9. That is pretty solid as well. And Runes of the Unholy, which summons 2 3/3 undeads with Taunt and Reborn. I feel like this is mostly a Blood Decay or a Rainbow Death Knight card. Not that Rainbow Death Knight's that great, but Blood Decay will love this card. Its value, removal, healing. Frosted feels a bit too slow. Unholy might want to run it to go with like the top end of Marrowgar to help out as more than just that one late game bomb. But overall, I see it as a really good Blood DK card, a really good Rainbow card, a really solid card. I will give it an A. I feel like it's a really well-designed Death Knight card that I'm really excited to try. And lastly, we have Voltron Prime, the Rogue Titan. It is a 6-mana 3/5 mech. Technically not a Titan, more like a T1 T4N. And yes, that was intentional because it's not actually a Titan. And this minion's abilities repeat on another random friendly minion. So you really need another minion on board. It will buff itself always, but as long as there's something on the board, it'll also buff that. And you have attached the cannons, which gives this +2/+1 and deals 4 damage to a random enemy. Probably the best ability, can deal 8 overall, and it can go face. You gain +1/+2 and draw a card, or gain +3 health and can't be targeted by spells or hero powers, making it hard to remove unless it's the Shaman Titan or the Deathlight Titan, which that doesn't work. You can still deal 20 damage to this or just remove it and gain all that health. I think this card is relatively weak. Most of the benefit of the card is buffing itself, which it can't attack for 3 turns, and the likelihood it's going to survive is not great. And you need another minion on the board for this to get a really good effect. Doesn't fit into any current rogue archetype, and to me, this card just doesn't even feel like a rogue card at all. There's no combo, there's no weapon, there's no burgle, there's just drawing cards, I guess, in weird buffs like the elusive one that just doesn't fit rogue at all. This is my only F of a Titan, mainly because I think not only from a design perspective does it fail as a rogue card, but the power level is arguably the worst of all of them, even compared to Warrior, although that one is a bit debatable. So let me know in the comments below what you agree with, disagree with. You can fill it out yourself. Tune in tomorrow when the card reviews begin again with which looks like a bunch of neutral cards. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.